23. Hello, Handmade Tales. It's Lasha Rayanko. And it's true, all of my kids have paws because Sophie is a dog. So, as I shared with you yesterday, So, part 1 of the Handmaid's Tale read, starting from the beginning, was on the 13th of August, and it's on at Lasha Rayanko 6907, and this is part 2 of the Tesaments by Margaret Atwood. This is part of my ADHD, so to control ADHD, you have to have a schedule. And because I get bored doing the same thing over and over and over, I just can't rinse and repeat every day. That's not the way my brain works. I wish it did. So I'm going back to Sunday, Monday, happy days. I really am. And so I'll be reading this every day until it's finished, because it's a good book. The Tesaments by Margaret Atwood. I am Lasha Rayanko. Welcome to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, liked, or commented, please do so. Smash the hell out of that subscribe button if you got ADHD or PTSD or PTSI. The reason I say PTSI, I don't even know what that is. I just remember Harry and Gabor Mate sitting there talking and trying to out-therapize each other. Just the way in a cult, Jenny Craig, we used to try to out-Jenny Craig each other without a dialogue. Thank you for calling Jenny Craig. How can I help you? At any rate, Handmaid Tales, here we go. Chapter 3. Now don't forget, there's the Tesaments all over the place from me to you. I couldn't get it organized. It's organized now. So the first read is yesterday, and it's under, again, Lasha Rayanko 6907. Don't forget to put the @ button in front. Subscribe, hit like. YouTubers, let's support each other. Do you know every video I watch, even if I don't subscribe, if I like it, and 99% I do, I hit like and I always comment. It's only fair. I remember there was, I always thought this man was so rude to say this. I'm gonna read, I am going to begin reading in just a moment. It's been 3 minutes and 32 seconds. So just let me explain why I mentioned subscribing, liking, commenting. Okay, so in 2017, when my femur broke, and that video is also on Lasha 6907 if you want to find out why I started this channel. So thus far, there are 146 of us in this little community. So there's dancing up, there's singing, there's silly videos. I think the video that I did about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and Oxycontin and the Sackler family, I thought I put that together pretty well, considering I don't know how to splice and slice. I haven't even tried. Probably because I'm afraid to, because I hate asking for help. I really hate it. Now, I wanted to tell you the story, and I'm not rewatching this to tell you the story. I forget. It'll come back. So this is the fresh start of the Tesaments, Margaret Atwood. So this is chapter 3, and this is, remember, how Gilead began, and because Handmaid Tales watch Handmaid's Tale fans watch everything that's put on. I was getting the characters confused. So as I'm reading, pay close attention. Try not to think about the Handmaid's Tale series, okay? I better sit in front of a little bit or else they'll take this down. Okay. And I made notes too. How old was I at the time? Perhaps 6 or 7. It's hard for me to know as I have no clear memories before that time. I loved Tabitha very much. She was beautiful, although so thin, and she would spend hours playing with me. We had a dollhouse that was like our house, with a living room and a dining room and a big kitchen for Martha's, and a father's study with a desk and bookshelves. All the little pretend books on the shelves were blank. I asked, why is there nothing inside them? I had a very dim feeling that there were supposed to be marks on those pages. And my mother said that books were decorations like vases of flowers. Oh, what a lot of lies she had to tell me for my sake, to keep me safe. But she was up to it. She had a very inventive mind. We had lovely big bedrooms on the second floor of the dollhouse with curtains and wallpaper and pictures, nice pictures, fruit, flowers, and smaller bedrooms on the third floor, and 5 bathrooms in all, though one was a powder room. Why was it called that? What was powder? And a cellar with supplies? So you have to think, this is a young child or an adult looking back at childhood. We had all the dolls of the dollhouse that you might need. A mother doll in a blue dress, the commander's wife, a little girl doll with 3 dresses, pink, white, and plum, just like mine. And there were 3 Marthas. 3 Marthas with aprons, a guardian of faith with a cap to drive the car and mow the lawn, 2 angels to stand at the gate with their miniature plastic guns so nobody could get in and hurt us. And a father doll in his Chris Commander's uniform. Now, could you imagine, I'm stopping right here on page 15, because I remember reading all of this. I read all of it. So I'm going to explain this, and then I'll peruse through, and I'll tell you if there's anything that I missed. So in chapter 3, and in part of chapter 4, even in chapter 5, this is how the indoctrination and the brainwashing started with Gilead. Now, remember at the beginning of The Handmaid's Tale, season 1, which was based on Margaret Atwood's book from 1987, which she wrote in the 70s. So at any rate, the indoctrination and the brainwashing. So imagine the kids that were taken from America into Gilead. For instance, in The Handmaid's Tale, in the series, it's Hannah. And in the book, we never know Offred's real name, right? And I find that interesting. But the indoctrination, because this is like a cult, when you dress the same, when there are certain rules, certain colors. I'm sure that in Gilead, because it was all based on the Old Testament, not the New Testament, in my opinion, and I've never read the Bible, so I don't know. I've read parts of it. My whole point is the indoctrination. Imagine being a 5-year-old kidnapped from your mother. You go into this new land. There's no television, no radio, no papers, nothing with the outside world. And then they're taken into these homes, probably terrified, furious at their parents. Why did they abandon me, right? And you remember June's meeting with Hannah from The Handmaid's Tale, and Hannah was scared at first, right? The mother, June, came running and crying to the daughter, and it scared the little girl. And I think June realized, well, whoever wrote the script did their research, because that is how children react. I remember reacting that way with my father when I wouldn't see him for a long time. But the indoctrination, I mean, this little girl, an adult remembering her childhood or vice versa, she's talking about how they even gave them doll houses with the creation of the outside world in Gilead and what a household should be in a doll house. Imagine that. Okay? So it even says here, in the dollhouse box set, there was a handmade doll with a red dress and a bulgy tummy and a white hat that hid her face. Though my mother said we didn't need a handmaid in our house because we already had me. And people shouldn't be greedy and want more than one little girl. She wrapped the handmaid up in tissue paper. I forgot this part. And Tabitha said that I could give her away later to some other little girl who didn't have such a lovely dollhouse and could make good use of the handmade doll. How do you make use of a handmade doll? I was happy to put the handmaid away in the box because the real handmaids made me nervous. We would pass them on our school outings. When we'd walk in the long double line with an aunt at each end of it, the outings were to churches or else to parks where we might play circle games or look at ducks in the pond. Later we would be allowed to go salvaging, and I don't even know what that word is, in our white dresses and veils to see people hanged or married. But we weren't mature enough for that yet, said Aunt Este. Now there was Aunt Este, Aunt Videla, and there's another one. I have still never been on a swing. It remains one of my wishes. See, imagine a little girl being taken into Gilead, and then, oh man, I have so much to say, but because I have so much to say, you know, with ADHD, it's almost as though you have so much to say and your thoughts are so fast, it's hard to focus on one thing without getting distracted. That's why I like reading out loud, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It helps me because I've always looked for audiobooks because I don't like reading. So that's why I love to do this. And after this book, I'm going to pick a good one. Okay. As we marched along the street, the handmaids would walk between 2 by 2 with their shopping baskets. They would not look at us, or not much, or not directly, and we were not supposed to look at them because it was rude to stare at them, said Aunt Este, just as it was rude to stare at, okay, I didn't write this, cripples. See, it would be okay to say that nowadays, or maybe 15 years ago, but nowadays it would be disabled. Okay, so you have to remember that when Margaret Atwood wrote these books, there is nothing, even though it's a dystopian, futuristic, fictional book, it's based on real history. Oh, that was a good one, Lash. Anyway, you couldn't see very much of them. You couldn't even see their faces because of those white hats they wore. They all looked the same. Well, the handmaids sure didn't think they looked the same. Remember, they were talking about it didn't matter if you were pretty or fat or ugly, but the prettier ones were treated better and blah, 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 blah. Okay, now she starts talking about the dollhouse again. Okay, so in our dollhouse at home, there was an ant doll, although she didn't really belong in a house. She belonged in school, or else at the Ardua Hall, where the ants were said to live. When I was playing with the dollhouse by myself, I used to lock the ant doll in the cellar, which was not kind of me. She would pound and pound on the cellar door and scream, "Let me out!" But the little girl doll and the little Martha doll who'd helped her would pay no attention. And sometimes they would laugh. I don't feel pleased with myself while recording this cruelty. Even though it was only a cruelty to a doll, it's a vengeful side of my nature that I am sorry to say I have failed to subdue entirely. But in an account such as this, it is better to be scrupulous about your faults as about all your other actions. Otherwise, no one will understand why you made the decisions you made. Isn't that the truth? It was Tabitha who taught me to be honest with myself, which is somewhat ironic in a view of lies that she told me. To be fair, she probably was honest when it came to herself. She tried, I believe, to be a good person as possible under the circumstances. It was Tabitha who taught me to, I already read that. Each night after telling me a story, she would tuck me into bed with my favorite stuffed animal, which was a whale. And big as a whale, and it's about to set sail. Everybody's grooving, everybody. See, they wouldn't have had that in Gilead. Anyway, so here's the nighttime prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray to the Lord my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. 4 angels standing around my bed, 2 feet and 2 head, 1 to watch and 1 to pray, and 2 to carry my soul away. Tabitha had a beautiful voice, like a silver flute. Every now and then at night, when I'm drifting off to sleep, I can almost hear her singing. Up, up in the sky, where the little birds fly, down, down in the nest, the little birds rest, with a wing on the left, and a wing on the right, the dear little birds sleep all through the night. There were a couple of things about this song that bothered me. First of all, the angels I knew were supposed to be the kind of angels that wore white nightgowns and feathers. But that was not how I pictured them. I pictured them as our kind of angels, men in black uniforms. A fallen angel like Lucifer. Also, it was not encouraging to pray about dying in your sleep. But what did it look like? My soul. I pictured it as just like me, only much smaller. As small as the little girl in the dollhouse. It was inside me. So maybe the same thing as the invaluable treasure that Aunt Videla said we had to guard so carefully. You could lose your soul, said Aunt Videla, blowing her nose. Oh yeah, she's the one that blows her nose all the time. Anyways, blowing her nose, in which case it would topple over the verge and hurtle down and endlessly down and catch on fire just like the Goish men. This was a thing I very much wished to avoid. Yeah, wow. Okay, that was 20 minutes. I'll probably do chapter 4 later on today or first thing in the morning on this channel. Okay, so this is part 2. Tomorrow or later on this afternoon, part 3. And I still have to do and want to upload the rest of my content. I did a reading about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle at that Beyonce concert. I want to show you what came up. And we also have to go work out. And then, yes, I'm not going to tell you and then, because it's a little personal. Okay, thank you so much. And you know what? I did this short video and it was the stupidest thing that you could ever see in your life. Like, I mean, really, 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 really dumb. Like stupid. I was sitting there and I thought it was just my camera, and I was looking at my eyebrows and I was like, and 20 people looked at it because I didn't filter it out anywhere. And I thought, people are actually coming back and watching. So thank you. And hey, I really, really want to show the thanks. And I've only read 2 people's cards thus far. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. It's okay to put yourself out there. That's okay. You know what one lady said to me in the comment section? Okay, these are the comments that I've been getting lately. Oh, look. Yeah, okay. Anyhow, what I wanted to tell you was, so these are the comments that I've been getting lately. Somebody said that I look like a drunkard and that I drank a lot of cigarettes or smoked a lot of cigarettes. I do smoke, but, you know, marijuana. Marriage? Awana? A marijuana? Hey, marijuana? Oh, and then somebody else said, when I did the Johnny Depp thing, she said, well, you're not a lawyer. You don't even know how to use punctuation. And then she put these big smiley emoticons on. And I thought to myself, I had a brain injury in 2007 on the left side. Well, that's my right side. On my left side? No. Yeah, that's my left side. I had a brain injury on the left side of my brain in 2007. And it does take me longer to type. And so I talk into my phone as though I'm talking to somebody, but it really bothers people. And I don't mean for it to bother people. And I really try to stop that habit. And then when I go quiet, people say, well, what's wrong with Lasha? She's so quiet. But then if I'm up, people go, oh, she's weird. It's like you can't win. So I love to read the Testaments. I'm enjoying it so much. And thank all of you for making it possible for me to keep going. If you all didn't tune in, I mean, really, I Thank you. Anyway, I have to go to the dentist because this tooth, when they did the surgery, the first surgery, not the correct ones, they chipped my tooth. I met a girl that had Botox, and she's like 30 something. And then I said to her, well, what should I get done? She said, oh, you don't need it. I'm like, I don't? Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for making this possible for me and everybody, honestly. Yeah, thank you so much. And I want to say Lisa Hooker-Belzak painted that for me, or for her, but she gave it to me. And she called this painting, I Know Blue. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that a gorgeous painting right there? Okay, I can move my TV back now. Look at what I do to try to do things without slicing and plicing. Here's my award from Jenny Craig. I'll never forget it. I sued Jenny Craig too, eh? I won. I didn't think I would, but I did. Highest profitability, and I get laid off. 28 regionals got laid off, and they hand-picked who they laid off. They did. And you know I'm not a conformist, right? Oh. Maybe I am a maniac. Okay, Handmaid Tales. Bye.